Welcome back to Pathway to Leadership. I'm really excited about tonight because we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to talk about Go Unstuck Yourself. I thought that was kind of a pretty cool title, and we're going to roll with it. So chat is open, as you can see, and I hope that we have your input because it's a lot better when we start talking amongst each other. So the first thing I want to say is that have you ever been in a position where you felt like you were stuck in your life? And if you're anything like me or I'm anything like you, that every once in a while you figure, you know, no matter what I do, I'm just not moving forward. And I'm telling you, that is it's a tough place to be. And we're going to talk about that this evening. And you know, I want to explore and talk about this, but the most important thing is understanding the things that we can do to get out of that stupor, that you're not moving forward. So before we go any further, I'm going to give you the first tip. The very first tip is change your environment. And when you change your environment, you're going to find out that there's a whole lot of things that's going to help out. So changing your environment. A lot of times your current environment can make you feel like you're not moving forward. Think about that. Changing your environment can help. Now, I'm talking about everything. I'm talking about things like, you know, the people that you're closest to relationship-wise, the environment in which, you know, you live your everyday life. There's a whole lot of things that come into play on that. You know, when I talk about change your environment, it doesn't have to be a vacation. Let's put it that way. Although a vacation will help. And believe me, I just got off of one. We're going to talk about that later. I'm not going to be like the old grandpa that's going to show you all the pictures of everything and everything like that. But I'm going to tell you about a few things tonight that really struck me on our vacation. Sometimes it just has to be a few hours, a few minutes. Sometimes it's just an opportunity to get away from the same old thing every day. Sometimes we have to change our environment. And a 5-minute vacation can help you unstuck yourself just as much as a week can. So we're going to talk about that. What's most important is we can use a holiday every once in a while. And you know, when we're busy at work, and everything's happening, and you know, as a leader, you're taking care of this element, you're working on this element and everything like that. There's nothing wrong with just taking a 5-minute vacation and regrouping. And a lot of times we forget that we are human. And as leaders, we have to take that moment to recharge our batteries. So I'm going to say the number one thing that we can do, and the chat is open, so please chime in on this. The number one thing that we can do to help unstuck ourselves is, number one, change your environment. Now, you can't change the people that you're working with, and I understand that. And you can't change the environment of the workplace, but you can change the environment in which you're thinking. Now, if that makes sense, give me a thumbs up in the chat because it's really important. In one of my previous videos, I said my mom used to say that if you can't take care of your shoes, how are you supposed to take care of someone else? Okay? If as leaders we're not constantly making sure that we're mentally fit, how can we expect to deal with the situations of the people that we deal with on an everyday basis as leaders? We have to maintain our mental aptitude. And sometimes you just have to take that 5-minute, 2-minute, whatever it takes, change your environment and you can go unstuck yourself. Makes sense. We got a couple of thumbs up in here. Scott Finger is giving me the thumbs up, which is a finger. Thank you, Scott. Appreciate that. But we've all been stuck before. I think everybody in life has been in a situation where they feel like they're not moving forward. Like everything is rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, and that can be kind of depressing. And when that happens, you know, you end up in that stupor of I'm stuck. And that's where we have to go unstuck ourselves. So, the second piece of advice is get out of your normal routine. As much as possible, get out of your normal routine. It's so easy. You know, you paint by the numbers every day. And, I was trying to change the scene here. There we go. All right, look at that. If you haven't noticed, I got my cameras kind of blending in a little bit better tonight. They're kind of the same colors, the same sharpness. But get out of your normal routine and operate differently. When you start feeling stuck, a lot of times what you can do is simply taking maybe a different way to work or back home. I actually tried that, and that was refreshing. I usually take one road to where I'm going, and then at the end of the day, I take the same road back all the time. And you know what's interesting is if you just look at an alternate route and you give your mind something else to look at, that can kind of inspire you to get unstuck. And I just need you to trust me on it. So if you're taking the same road every day to work and you're taking the same road every day after work back home, try taking a different route. Some of you have no choice. So those of you that have no choice, you probably most likely will agree that taking a different route is one way to get you unstuck. But it's just something that I found, you know, for those of us that go in the same direction every day, in the same direction home, it definitely makes a difference. Mixing up or adding something to your morning routine. This I find is really, really good. If you find yourself in a situation that you feel like you're stuck, you're not moving forward, you're not getting anywhere where you want to be, just by simply adjusting what you do every day in the morning when you wake up can make a huge difference. So I've mentioned this before, the 28-day challenge. The first 28-day challenge is feed your mind something positive every morning. And then the second one is learn something every day. So you can mix it up in the morning. If your morning routine is always the same every day, try doing something different. Maybe you don't have that cup of coffee first thing. Maybe you go outside and watch the sunrise. Maybe you wash dishes. Whatever it is that breaks up the normal routine can definitely help you go unstuck yourself. And I think it's really important that we look at it from the outside looking in. What is it that's making us feel stuck in where we are right now and at the moment? You know, not everybody has the opportunity to go to work every day and, working in a challenging environment or anything like that. A lot of people every day get up, go to work, go home, go to bed, and it's the same routine, same thing. And I can see how you can feel stuck and you want to unstuck yourself. And, you know, I worked for a company one time many years ago. Oh, God, over 20 years ago. That I used to call it the galleons, you know, like the old Spanish galleons. It was like, okay, I take this widget, I do this to the widget, and I do that to the widget. And I do that over and over and over, 8 hours a day. Oh my God, you know, and at the end of 8 hours, I'm like, this is it? This is all there is? There has to be something more. And I think when you start to look at things from a different perspective, which is the outside looking in, you start to realize that, you know, every day that you wake up is an opportunity to create change. I'm looking at you dead in the eyes here. It's an opportunity to create change. You have a gift, and that gift is every day you have an opportunity to wake up, and that gives you a full 24 hours, or until you go to bed. But it gives you all that time. You can make a change. Well, let's move on. Get out of your normal routine and operate differently. We talked about that, but I just want to say, you know, I want you to try an experiment. Tomorrow morning, when you wake up, I want you to put your belt on backwards, if you wear a belt. Okay? For those of you that, you know, that just think of the morning routine that you do. Let's mix it up a little bit. If you normally put your pants on first and then your shirt, let's do it the opposite way. Let's put your shirt on first and then your pants. If you normally, you know, put your pants on first and then your shoes and then your shirt, you know, mix it up. You don't always have to do the same routine all the time. And I think when you start to realize that there are different ways of doing things, it starts to work up here that you have an entire day to make things interesting for yourself. The next suggestion that I have is identifying the stuck. Now, a lot of people have a problem with this. I do. I definitely have a problem with this because I really don't want to. And I'll be honest with you, it's a lot of soul searching that you have to do inside of yourself. You have to self-evaluate and actually identify that stuck. You have to identify the stuck before you can assemble a solution to get unstuck. This is starting to sound repetitive, but let me throw some questions at you. So here's a good example. Ask yourself, why am I stuck? Is it my career? Is it my relationship? Is it money? And money is always a big one. Money is always huge. A lot of people turn around and say, I'm not making enough money. If I could just make more money. Well, let me tell you something. Making more money will only allow you to spend more money. Okay? Once you improve your quality of life becomes more expensive. Nobody has ever made more money without acquiring more bills. Who do you know has started making more money and stayed at the level of expenses that they were before making more money? So be careful of that one. But most importantly, is the reason why you're stuck, is it because of ourselves? Are we the reason, personally, that we feel stuck? Have we made the illusion that we're stuck in place? Think about that. Scott Finger chimes in and he says, you stuck usually out of fear of change, out of exploring outside of your box. And you know, that's very important. Fear. Fear is a big reason why we end up being stuck. We don't want to change. Fear of change. How about if I told you that some people just get comfortable being stuck? That's not really great, is it? After a while, you just get so used to being in the one place that you're in. The 4 square feet that you occupy has now become such a life for you that you don't even want to propel yourself forward. I'm just going to stay right here. And that's a shame, because I believe everybody has the potential to move forward, whether it's an inch or a full step or leap miles ahead of where you are right now. Everybody has an opportunity. Every day you wake up is an opportunity to move forward in your life. But sometimes we do get stuck. So moving along, examples of reasons why we could get stuck is it could be a career, it could be your relationships, it could be the money, it could be yourself that's holding you back. But if we take the same questions and we drill it down a little bit more, you have to ask yourself, what is it exactly that's making me stuck? What is it exactly? So if you say, it's my career choice is making me stuck. Well, you have to drill down a little bit more and you have to ask yourself, what is it about my career that's keeping me here, that's keeping me stuck? Identify that. See, by self-evaluating all of these different issues, is it money? I'm not making enough money. Is it my relationships? And I'm not talking about the relationships in a professional manner. It could be your personal relationships. Is that keeping me stuck? When you drill down, what is it exactly about these categories that's keeping me stuck? Well, then guess what? Now you can start creating a solution. You can start creating a plan that'll help move you forward instead of being stuck. You know, like I say, the whole thing this evening is understand you have to go unstuck yourself. You have to. Because if you're satisfied, and as a matter of fact, if you're here watching this video, if you're here part of Pathway to Leadership, I know for a fact you don't want to be stuck. You want to unstuck yourself. And this is really important for you. Hello, Elliot. Nice for you. Oh, you had a few minutes to chime in, and I appreciate it. I know Elliot personally. He's at a conference, and he took the time out this evening just to do a quick hello for us. So everybody in the chat, let's say hello to Elliot. Thank you for joining us, Elliot. So drilling down the reason why we get stuck, we have to ask, you know, what is it about each of these elements or the element that we have that's what we feel is holding us back? And if you still don't have any answers, look at your circle of friends. Because if you have a circle of friends that truly have your best interests in mind, then they will be honest with you and they will give you their opinions or observations of why they think you are stuck. You know, everybody develops themselves to a position of getting to a point where they feel, oh, I've hit my ceiling, my personal ceiling. And I think a lot of us have already seen Willy Wonka, you know, that end scene where the elevator just busts through the glass ceiling and, the sky's the limit. Well, unfortunately, a lot of us, don't look at it that way. We look at we're only going to grow to a certain point, and that's it. We hit the top, and we stay there. We never move above that top. And that's what I mean about go unstuck yourself. You're here. You're hitting where you think mentally. That's it. That's as far as I'm going to go. And there's so much more that you can do to get yourself unstuck and move yourself forward. There's education. There's the internet. There's so much out there. But I think the number one resource that you have are the people that know you the best. And if you ask them, look, I'm stuck right now. I don't know where I'm going. I want to move up. I don't know how to. And if you have the right people around you, they're going to tell you the honest truth. And I think in many ways, it's ourselves that stop us from moving forward. A lot of times, we're the biggest obstacle on our way moving forward. I got a lot of chats coming in. Let me go ahead and hit some of these. Hello, Elliot. Yes, okay. Scott again. A lot of times, it's all you know or think you know. The sameness is maddening but comfortable. Again, out of the fear of change. Yes, exactly. If you're fearing change, as leaders, as developing leaders, you have to embrace change. And that's a scary thing. It really is. I mean, if you really think about what does change do, it actually flips your world upside down, doesn't it? You get used to the same old routine every day. And what's great about that is you know what to expect. And then it becomes boring. And after it becomes boring, it starts to affect you psychologically, and you start to think, well, this is it. This is my ceiling. And we have nowhere to go. Well, with that, I recently was on a cruise, and we went to the Bahamas. And I'm not going to lie. I mean, I didn't really feel stuck, but that's what inspired this video, is I did kind of feel like, have I reached the top of where I'm capable of going? Well, with that in mind, I decided to take a different approach. When we got off the ship and went to the islands, I said to myself, I'm going to look at this not as a tourist, but as if I lived on this island. And it was great. And I'll tell you what, the island, I'm not going to mention the island name or anything like that, but I will say this, almost all the islands in the Bahamas have one main road, and it's called Kings Highway, and they have a secondary called Queens Highway. Well, we were on Kings Highway, and we went to the straw market, and, it's kind of touristy and everything like that. And what was really great was my wife was like, you know what, when we get out of here, I want you to go up that hill, and let's go explore. And then things started to click. As we went up that hill and we got away from Kings Highway and we started exploring, and we're on a golf cart, and we started exploring the residents of the island, it started to hit me. First thing I realized was, I really have it good. I really have it amazingly good. We explored that island up and down these side streets and everything like that. I realized how many dilapidated buildings. I realized many of the medical care that was there. And I'm going to show you some pictures here very shortly. It's kind of scary. This is the life that they have that most people don't see. And you have to start learning how, you might be stuck in life, but you also have to look back and appreciate. You have to have a level of thankfulness. You have to have a level of appreciating what you have, gratitude, and not taking things for granted. And if you give me a second here, I'm going to go ahead and look over on my other screen. I want to bring some of these pictures up for you. I think I can do this. We'll see if I can bring up some of these. Oh, it's not working right now. Give me 1 minute here, and I will bring these up. I have to do a screen share. So what I found was very interesting is when we got off the ship, the first thing they said to us was, don't hurt yourself. I was like, what? Don't hurt myself. And yeah, they were like, please don't hurt yourself because, there's no one here to help you. You actually have to take a helicopter ride to be able to get any kind of medical attention. So here was the first striking thing on this island. It's pretty incredible, and I do have a few more here I'll share with you. It's pretty incredible. There is a museum. At that. So the people on these islands, they're very poor. And sometimes you have to be reminded how good you have it. And I got to tell you, it's an eye-opener when they say the only way that you're going to get emergency medical attention is they're going to airlift you out of a baseball stadium and take you to a neighboring island that has a hospital. Imagine that. It's incredible. And that's what I'm saying. Seeing things from another perspective can help you get unstuck. Some of us have awesome opportunities. Every day you wake up is an opportunity to make a change. You have an entire day to make a change. And it's a real eye-opener when you go to a place like that we were at, and you look at it from a different set of eyes and a different perspective. Anyways, getting back to unstuck. Let's get unstuck. So, again, getting into that position where you can ask friends, family, and just ask their opinion. Say, look, I really trust you and I want your honest opinion. I'm feeling like I'm stuck. What is it, me? Am I holding myself back? And I think 9 out of 10 times we find out that we're the ones that hold ourselves back. We don't want to let go of our defenses. We live life on the defensive side, and we don't let go of that. And we box ourselves in, and we allow ourselves to become comfortable where we are, and we don't work on propelling ourselves forward. So I just want to remind you of one statement that I think is really cool. I can take a full step forward. I can take a half of inch forward. What's the difference? Both is moving forward. And even when life gives us setbacks, when you start looking at how do I propel myself forward, when you get a setback, you'll find it'll be easier for you to set a roadmap to push yourself back to where you were, and actually maybe a half inch, a quarter inch, doesn't matter. Could be a full step, could be an inch, as long as you're moving forward. And that's what I have for tonight. And I want to open it up to the chat. Has anybody been in a position where they felt like they were stuck in life and couldn't move forward? And what did you do? What did you do to get yourself out of that and get yourself inspired to move forward? So, let's see. Angel says, I lived it. Had to take a plane or a boat. Yeah, Angel. So you know exactly. One hurricane goes through those islands and you start all over again. You know, I think the one point on that island that we were on was 4.5 feet above sea level. Think about that. 4.5 feet above sea level, and you have a storm surge from a hurricane coming through. You know, where I'm at, we're a little bit higher than that, so I'm not really at risk of that. But imagine living in a situation like that. Talk about lucky where you are. If you're actually watching this video from that island, you know, I have great respect. And we hear that a lot. When you start visiting the islands, as often as my wife and I have been privileged to be able to do, you hear the locals talk to each other, and there's a great respect because there's such a high level of danger living out there. It's incredible. So, I wish I had more pictures. I don't want to bore you with any of the other pictures. Okay, so before we go any further, so Pathway to Leadership is developing leaders, and we're creating a community of leaders. I really wish that you will go down into the description. There's a way, under a heading, there's a way that you can help support the channel. There's actually the Pathway to Leadership store, where you can order books, and I'm going to grow that as I start reviewing books and material. If you have a problem with public speaking, if you want to talk about, if you want to discover how business works and things like that, there's a whole list of things underneath there. We have a Discord. Pathway to Leadership is not inclusive. You just go ahead and share us out to all your friends and family. I really enjoy doing this. It's my personal mission to bring leadership skills and discussions to everybody. Again, please just go down in the description, check out some of the links that I have posted there. Learn a little bit about some of the other things that are available to you. I just want to say that I really do appreciate you all being here. Again, I think being stuck is probably one of the worst things you can ever experience. I've been there myself. It brings on depression, anxiety, when you feel like you're stuck and that's it. So there's so many different terms. Scott Finger says, it's why I took a leap of faith to join Slug-a-Bug. Slug-a-Bug is a pest control company. I'm back to being me again. It's been a reawakening from my career. Yes, when you can find a way to reawaken your career. If you're living in a job which is get up, go to work, go home, go to bed, get up, go to work, go home, go to bed, and that's all you've got, then you wake up every day with an opportunity to change your life. You have 365 days a year that give you an opportunity to change your life. And a lot of times we don't realize that. So, I think going back to what we started, let's recap. I think the number one thing to help anyone get out of being stuck is change your environment. Whether it's for 2 minutes, 5 minutes, a week, change your environment. Take a deep breath. Recharge your batteries. Next piece of advice is get out of your normal routine and operate differently. So if you're getting up every day and doing the same thing over and over, you can expect what? The same results. That's the definition of insanity, right? Doing the same thing over and over and expecting something different. So change what you do on a daily basis. Get out of that routine. Because when you start doing calculated things, I do this at this time, I do this at this time, I do this at this time, and I'm going to expect something different, it's not going to happen. Folks, it's just not, it'll never happen. So get out of that routine. Start adjusting what's going on. And when you start to discover what is exactly stopping you from growing and making you stuck, boil it down. What are the actual obstacles? And tackle them one by one. You can't fix everything all at once. I can't just turn around and say, I'm just going to say right here, is it my career? Yeah, my career is holding me back. That's not an answer. What is it? What are those specifics in your career that's holding you back? Is it my relationships? What specifically in my relationships are holding me back? And then, remember, sometimes it takes another set of eyes. Sometimes you have to ask the hard questions and be ready for the hard answers. If somebody you know truly and really cares for you and you trust, be prepared for the honest answers. Sometimes those answers can hurt. But I will say this. The number one cause of being stuck in life is you. It's me. We are the number one cause of getting in our own way. And so with that, I want to encourage you, take what we talked about tonight, move forward. An inch is a mile and a step is an eternity. There's no difference. As long as you're moving forward inch by inch, step by step, you're going to make it to where you want to be, if you really want it, and you get out of your own way. I wish you the best of luck on your pathway to leadership. Please like and subscribe. The button's just down below. If you want to know more about Pathway to Leadership, look in the description. There's plenty of resources in there. And if you want to be part of a community that really wants to develop leadership, hit that subscribe button and share it with all your friends. I'm John with Pathway to Leadership. I will see you next time, and you have a great evening.